Hey guys, welcome back to the Max Spence Business Podcast. Today I have a very special guest. But before I jump into that, if you guys like the content I'm putting out, the people I'm interviewing, please like, subscribe, leave a review. It helps out a ton with the podcast. If you can go over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, that helps out a ton as well. So without further ado, today's guest is Fanny Newport. So she's a real estate investor from London, Ontario, and an author of Enjoy Your Life, a book talking about how she started real estate investing. It's great having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So for people that maybe don't know who you are, why don't we jump into a little intro about, how did you sort of get into real estate and how did that all sort of unfold?
All right. So as you say, my name is Fanny Newport. I'm here in London, Ontario. So the way how I started is my brother gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I had no idea what was asset or liability. And after I read that book, it opens my eyes. I said, my gosh, the whole time I was thinking I'm doing good. And then I realized everything I had was just liabilities. I didn't have any asset. And then I realized I didn't even know what was rat race. So you go to work, get paid, spend it, go back to work again for 40 years. And then after you retire, I thought it was a normal path. And then after reading that book, I said, no, I have to do something. So that's where I started taking classes how I can invest in real estate. And then that's
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And that's probably like, you've probably heard the same, like I've heard it a lot of people have had on the podcast. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the book that really starts that process of either investing into real estate. The interesting thing I've sort of seen with is like Rich Dad talks about two things. He talks about real estate, and then he also talks about having your own business or having like running a business, right? So were you interested in maybe running your own business, or did you sort of lean towards the real estate aspect first?
I love real estate. I love renovations. I love decorations. I used to love decorations even before, but now it had me. It had me doing renovations. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you read the book that sort of started it. You're like, okay, I have an interest now in buying real estate. So what was the plan? Like, how did you actually go about that? Because it's like, making that jump from, let's say working that job and sort of having that like path that sort of laid out in front of you is like, you go to school, you go to college or university, then you get a job. And like, how did you make that jump to actually buying your first, like, let's say investment property? And also what was it?
Okay, so of course, I didn't know how to buy income property. I didn't know what to do, so I took classes. And then I went slowly. I purchased the first one. I didn't know how to select a tenant, so I was learning along the way, and I was always going to webinars and seminars, meetups, and on some groups on Facebook, learning every day. So every day you learn something new. So I was learning every time. So when I purchased, I said, okay, now what am I going to do? How am I going to find a tenant? How am I going to select tenant? So every time I was asking over investors who already have experience, they're so happy to help you. They were helping me slowly, and I find my tenant. And so I was learning slowly. And then, so what am I going to do? How can I increase rent after 12 months? So every time I didn't know what landlord tenant board, I didn't know that. And then my friend told me about, so every time you learn something, you keep learning. It doesn't end.
True. So awesome. So okay. So you pretty much just started with like the learning process. You went to all your seminars, and all that sort of stuff. And then what was actually the first? Did you get like a single family home? Did you get like a townhouse, duplex, or what did you sort of jump into?
A townhouse, but it needed a lot of work. But it was, thank God, it was just cosmetic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the mistake I made is I was thinking I'm saving money, so I said, oh, I don't have to pay somebody to paint it, so I can do it myself. And it took me so long. That was a big mistake. I didn't know, but now I learned. Now I know. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm gonna save. Why am I going to pay like 1,000? I can do it, but it took me so long. And now I realize if I pay somebody to do it, he was going to do it maybe in 2 days, paint the whole entire townhouse. But it took me like a month because I have to deal with my family, getting tired, I didn't like it. So if I paid somebody, he was going to do it in 2 days and put a tenant in and get that money back. But I wasted the whole month trying to save money, but really I didn't save anything.
And that's that's what I hear a lot. Like a lot of new investors go down that route of like, oh, I'll do all the renovations myself.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I'll paint, or you know, I'll like, for some people it might be like, hey, actually, I'll do a kitchen renovation, which is actually like, and if you've never done it before, it's a lot more work than what you initially anticipated it was going to be, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And then because I've heard that a few times from different real estate investors. You know, the first few properties, or the first property, they did it all themselves, and then after that they just hired it out, because it's so, like you were saying, it's so much quicker, and then you just get that tenant and you start making that money, right?
Exactly. And when you watch HGTV, in 30 minutes the house is done. So you don't realize that it takes forever.
Yeah, with the TV show. So okay, so us, so okay, so you got the townhouse, you made some mistakes, you learned from it, and then what was your next process like, getting like, because like a lot of people maybe run into is, you know, they get the first property and then they're like, now what, like, you know, I have all this debt, you know, they have a mortgage, they have you know, and it's sort of like that hard step to like, because the majority of people don't have like a job that's paying a lot, like a ton of money usually when they start real estate, right? Like maybe they're on 50 or 80 or 60 or $100,000 a year, right? And once they get that first property, it's really hard to get a second property under their own name with a mortgage, right? Because they have already the debt and all the other stuff of having that single family home. So how did you actually expand from that, from jumping from a townhouse to like, what else did you jump to?
Okay, so when I was going to purchase a second property, so of course my bank told me, you already have your residence and you have an income property, you pretty much done. So I had to have my parents-in-law to be like guarantor.
Become a loan guarantor. Okay, yeah.
Loan guarantor, yes. And the next property I had to use a joint venture. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the first property was yours. The second one, you got a loan guarantor. And then, okay. So that's an interesting thing that probably maybe some people don't know about, is you can actually, like, let's say if you run into the problem that you had, is like, oh, the bank's not going to lend you personally any money. What you can do is you can actually go out and get a loan guarantor, whether that's a family member, a friend, or maybe like, you know, maybe a business partner. And then, and then from there, you went and did a joint venture. So what was the reasoning behind doing the joint venture instead of doing a loan guarantor again?
And because at some point you run out of money if you keep it, because you need 20% down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have 20% down every time.
Oh, okay. So okay, awesome. So your joint venture, were they like a manager with you, or did they just bring the money part and they wanted to be a silent partner, or how did you sort of structure that?
So they're money partner. They don't do anything. So I do everything. I find the property, I screen tenant, I manage it, everything. So we just did the money part.
Oh, okay. And did they were they the like did they like were they the loan guarantor as well for the mortgage, or did they just bring the 20% down?
No, the other thing I wanted to say, some bank, you see, like my bank say, no, you're done. But then my friend told me, go to Scotiabank. Scotiabank accepted to give me a loan.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so like, even though, like, let's say if you're with a CIBC or RBC or something like that, or BMO, there's other banks out there that might actually lend, and Scotiabank did it. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes. Scotiabank is really good with investors. And I think BMO too. I never tried BMO, but there's somebody told me BMO is good too. And the other thing, if a bank say no, that's a lender, the bank, CIBC, RBC, all of that. But you have the B lender too, like trust. What is it? The other bank, the B lender.
Like, yeah, because like, so the A banks are the, CIBC, all that sort of stuff, and you have
Yes.
B and C lenders.
Mhm.
And how, like the B lenders, do you usually get those from mortgage agents, or how do you find out about that?
A mortgage broker, because a mortgage broker has access to all of that.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So you have your three properties now. Like, do you have more, or how
Yes.
okay,
So after I
yeah.
finished the joint venture, and then because I keep going in meetups, so I made so many friends. One of my friend, he's a hard money lender. He's a private lender. So I saw a property, and he accepted to finance it 100%. Usually, if they finance 80%, you come up with 20%. But because he's a really nice guy and we're friends, he accepted to cover 100%.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
but of course the interest rate is really high. But so
okay.
what?
So with that property, so you financed it 100%. Was your plan with it to within the year to refinance it to get it to get a better mortgage for it, or what was your plan
In
with
few,
that?
in few months,
Oh, in a
in
few
few
months.
months, because interest rate is really high, was
Yeah.
12%. So my plan was the 20% I was going to put down, I use it for renovations quickly, and then refinancing with the bank and pay him off, pay him for.
Ah, okay, okay, yeah, that's actually really smart. Okay, yeah, I like that a lot. So you financed the whole thing and then refinanced it out in a couple of months. Wow,
Yes,
that's crazy. So, well, what property was that? Was that a townhouse again, or was that something else?
it's a detached house, the bungalow.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
Wow, that's crazy. So, what's your portfolio right now with all the properties that you have?
Um, the townhouse, two condo, two apartment, and single family.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I mean, like if you think about it, the majority of people probably have one property, and you have like four, and then plus your probably primary residence as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So yeah,
Thank you.
so to give more sort of advice on that, like a lot of people may are probably listening right now, or like the majority of my audience is like younger, so it's in their
Yeah.
20s,
Mhm,
and they're probably either just like the majority of people are either going into their first property, or maybe you're deciding to scaling up. What would you recommend to actually get into real estate investing? Like should you buy a condo? Like is a condo better? Is it to better like because people are going to have enough money to maybe buy a condo. Should they wait and save up to buy a single family home, or should they just get that condo instead?
Oh, I wish I started when I was younger. If you're really young, let's say you still at university, if you can afford a townhouse, even a condo, a 2 bedroom, and you rent out the room, so somebody's helping you to pay off a mortgage.
Hmm.
Uh, if you still at university, I think it would be a good idea to buy a condo. You know why? Because you will not have time to shovel the driveway or to cut the grass in summertime. You pay the condo fees and it's done. You don't have to worry about anything. And maybe in 5 years, you can sell it and buy a detached. But when you
Uh,
sit at school, you don't have too much time. I think condo will be a better idea. But rent out the other room. If you can afford a townhouse, it's better because you can have 3 bedroom and you can live in a basement.
yeah, yeah, true, true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Actually, I like that a lot, and probably the majority of people like I know for me, like the younger generation, like we want to live downtown or where everything's sort of happening or near the city, right? Where everything's
Yes.
happening because people want to
Yeah.
go to restaurants, go to bars, go all that sort of stuff,
Yes.
and like go to events and stuff.
Mhm.
So having a condo is actually probably a better idea, and then renting those rooms out. Okay, awesome, awesome. So how have you systematized your business now? Like when you started, it was probably like just learning it all. But what systems have you put in place that have actually helped you out a lot with the like your process of buying properties?
Uh, what helped me a lot is to screen tenant. That's very, very important. You have to screen the tenant and make sure the person, you cannot be sure 100%, but at least you try. The person has income, the person has a job, know somebody who spent the whole day watching TV. Just somebody who has a good normal life,
Mhm.
and make sure, of course, is that responsible and take good care of your house. And if a tenant tells you, for example, something broke down, you have to fix it. You treat them as a business partner because it's somebody who is helping you to pay down your mortgage.
Ah, okay, okay.
Respect them, yeah. Because if you don't take care of them, they say, or maybe there is a leak in a bathroom and you don't do anything. What do you think they're gonna do? They will not treat good your house. They're gonna destroy it. But if you treat them good, for sure they're gonna take care of your house and you don't have to worry about anything.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, so really making like when something breaks or something happens or your tenant has a complaint, fixing that right away.
Yes.
Just to like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's very smart to do instead of just leaving it and having it get worse. And also too, like the longer, like for like, let's say if something breaks in the house, the longer you leave it, the more expensive it is going to get to fix it.
Yes, because it's gonna destroy something else.
Yeah.
Let's say there is a leak in a bathroom, what do you think gonna happen? Gonna destroy the floor, and maybe if it's upstairs, if the water gonna go downstairs, it will be too much at the end.
Yeah. So with like to now talk about the tenant, like you were saying, the tenant screening process, do you hire that out to a property man? Like for your properties, do you have a property management company that manages these properties, or do you manage themselves? Like what are your thoughts on that?
I manage them by myself. And to screen tenant, there is a website which is really, really good. Nabori.com, I think. It screen the tenant for you. So
Oh wow.
yes, and it's free for landlord.
Oh,
So
okay.
ever people who are interested in, go to this website. They check their credit score, they check their income, they check their job, they check everything.
Oh,
So
okay.
if a person refuses to fill it up, so
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so that's really useful then. So in the future, do you think you're gonna hire a property management company to hire these properties? I mean, to manage these properties, sorry, or do you think you're gonna continue to manage them yourself?
So at some point, if the portfolio is bigger, of course I'm gonna hire a property management company. Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
you can't do everything. I
Yeah,
will be making the same mistake I was doing.
yeah,
At the beginning.
with the painter and stuff.
Yeah, we're painting. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So now moving to how has COVID affected the real estate market? So you're in London, Ontario, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So has COVID affected the market badly? Has it like have prices gone up? Like what are some problems that you face or seeing with COVID right now?
Personally, nothing's changed. So lucky, even all the property are rented right now, so I don't have to worry about anything. But you know what is crazy? The house prices keep going up. Doesn't matter if COVID or not, they keep going up.
Yeah, actually, that is very true because I'm in Ottawa and I'm seeing a lot of that now. Like when COVID happened and we had that I think it was like a 3 month block where everything sort of just shut down,
Mhm.
like nothing really happened. But now everything is like up and it's like
Yeah.
exploding and it's like where's all this money coming from? Like how are people, like aren't we supposed to be in a recession? Like everybody's thinking like aren't we supposed to be in a recession? Like because there was a crash and like there's COVID and people aren't able to work, but like where is like all this money coming from? Do you have any ideas at all? Like by talking to other investors where, like why prices are going up, why prices are going up?
Like in London, I was reading something last night saying 50,000 people moved from Toronto uh, between July 2019 and July 2020 because in Toronto house market is crazy, it's very expensive. So people are moving away from Toronto and they're coming here. Because let's say a house in Toronto is around 800, 900, but in London you can find for 500 or 400. So for
Oh,
them,
okay.
It's
Yeah,
a
yes.
price.
True. So they're selling their primary residence, moving here, and maybe buying a property, taking the other half, investing in it, or doing something else with it, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe buying two property. Yeah, that's the exact, like, that's what I've been seeing in Ottawa. Like during, I think it was the summer of 2019, there was a lot of people moving from Toronto to Ottawa.
Mhm.
And a lot of people were buying, like there's a lot of people coming from Toronto, and they were buying, like, like two houses, because it was so,
Uh-huh.
like, because compared to, like, the majority of like you were saying is like 900,000, $1 million almost, and they'd come here and they could buy, a $450,000 house or $500,000 house, right? They could buy two of them, rent out one. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and in Toronto, maybe they were living in an apartment.
Mhm.
An apartment is maybe 1 million or 900,000, and you come here to London, you're gonna buy a mansion.
True. So okay, awesome. So now I want to jump to is pretty much like why do you think you were so successful when, so like a lot of people, maybe like there's people that are against real estate, like, oh, you'll lose your shirt if you go into get into real estate or something like that. Like, why do you think you were so successful, other than why, and why others fail at doing real estate?
First you have to like it. You have to like it and enjoy doing it. It's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. When I was going painting, or when something broke down, I said, "Oh my God, I have to do it." But I said, "It's okay, I have to do it." You don't give up. You keep going. If you don't like real estate, at least do business. Do something. Do something else. But do something. Get out of rat race. It doesn't matter if it's real estate or business or the stock market. Do something to have more income than your salary, because your salary can be cut anytime.
Yeah.
Nothing is guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Just
I actually agree with that a lot. And like from COVID, like a lot of people have actually like started to do side businesses, or side, like to create side
yeah,
businesses, like whether that's real estate, stocks, or another actual business, because they've sort of seen, like, like you were saying, is like that salary can be cut, right? And during COVID, that happened to a lot of people. And then they're like, well, what happens now? I've spent, like, 10 years or 5 years at this company. What am I going to do
yeah,
now, right? So yeah, so
yeah,
like that is a great point, is to just do something, no matter what it is. Try and add some
yeah.
extra income to your salary, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And
Okay.
now we're so lucky. We're so lucky we have technology. You don't even have to go somewhere. You can do Amazon from home.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's very true. You can do the drop shipping. You can start a lot of different businesses.
Yeah.
So that that's awesome. So going back to real estate now, like what is some other advice that you have for people that are, like, let's say that they're at their first property or their second property, like you sort of expanded by doing single family, and then condos and stuff like that. Like, is your next step to actually go into a bigger, like, multifamily property?
Yes, that's my goal, to go into a multifamily, because it's easier to manage. Instead of managing one here, one over there, and one, you manage like five at the same place. It's easier.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
easier.
so, so your advice with, like going back to the advice a little bit at the start there, like, do you think you, like, instead of buying those other properties, do you like, looking back on it, do you wish you would have bought, like, let's say a 3 unit or a 4 unit at the beginning, instead of like, or what's your thought process on that?
It's because I couldn't afford it at that time, but I didn't know you don't have to use your own money. You can use other people's money. Like
Mhm.
when you use joint venture, or when you use a hard money lender. At the beginning, I was learning, but I didn't have to use my own money. I didn't know. But when you're starting out, if you never bought any house, it's better if you can afford like a duplex, because you'll be your first one. You your first one, you don't have to come up with 20%. You can come up with just 10%, and
Yeah.
then rent out rooms.
Yeah, true. Actually, I've heard that from mortgage brokers, where it's like, is it friends and family? Is it called, or something, where I'm not too sure what it's called, but it's like, you can do like the 10% down, and then you rent out those rooms, right? And then
Oh,
the the like the banks will look at the property, but they'll, instead of looking at yourself, right, they'll look at the property more as an investment, sort of like as an investment property, than more than a single family home.
If it's your first one, you don't have to put down 20% if it's your first one.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're starting out, and instead of putting 20% down and buy a small house, put 10% or 5%, and then buy a little bit bigger, like 3-room or 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, and rent out the other rooms, maybe for 5 years. By the time you finish university or you save up some money, then you can buy like a duplex or fourplex, whatever, but start slowly. And what you have to pay attention is the location. Location. Don't buy in a really bad area, because you will have bad tenant. When you're in a bad area, you attract bad tenant.
Yeah.
Choose
Oh,
a
okay.
better.
Yeah. No. Like that's very true. Is like location. And one of my family members actually, well, she's in, she's in Scotland right now, and she owns a couple of properties, and she was saying like, yeah, it's location, is the biggest thing, because that's gonna have the biggest effect on the property, right? So now talking about renovations, and you've probably done a lot of renovations. What are the best renovations that provide you the most value for like properties, right? Is it like the kitchens, is it the bathrooms, is it painting? Like what should you focus your, like, let's say you have a limited amount of money, what should you focus on when you go in to renovate a property?
Every single person spend most time in a kitchen. The kitchen is important, especially if it's a family. The kitchen is important. Kitchen and bathroom, that's what people look at. And paint, of course. Paint makes a huge difference. Just a coat of paint, it makes a huge difference. Like my townhouse, just the paint made a huge difference. I just painted it and it looks beautiful, just the paint. Because it was a dark, it's a small house, and the person who was living there before, he painted dark blue. It was dark, so the house was smaller. But when I painted bright, it looks like it's open. It looks better.
Okay.
Wow, you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Just a coat of paint will make a big difference, and make sure the kitchen and the bathroom are clean.
Okay. And then with the painting, like what paint do you recommend with that? Like, do you recommend like, you said lighter paints, right? Lighter colors.
Lighter color. If it's a small, an apartment or a townhouse, use light colors. Don't go bold and put like black or dark blue.
Yeah, true. So like, do you usually go with like a white or like a light gray sort of color? Is that the majority of what you usually go with?
Natural color are way better.
Oh, okay. And then also with like, let's say the kitchen, when you're redoing the kitchen, do you redo like all the appliances as well?
Yes, but I don't buy a new one. I buy used, but in a good condition.
Oh, okay. And like okay, so you buy like you replace the original ones unless they're already like, good or whatever.
Unless they're in a good, unless they're in a good condition,
Okay, so you'd recommend painting is huge. Painting's a big one. Going with the light colors, and then the kitchen, focusing on the kitchen, and like with the kitchen now, like what do you usually like? What type of countertops and like other things do you sort of like the cupboards? Like do you sort of go with like a very like just very like sleek sort of like what type of countertops are they called? Laminate countertops, or like what sort of other renovations do you do in the kitchen?
Like in my townhouse, it's a nice laminate. It was there, so I kept it. I didn't change it. Yeah, but in the new house, because it's Airbnb, it want to be a little bit high class. I put cards and everything. The kitchen, I put a new kitchen cabinet, white, completely white, and the appliances are white, so it looks clean because it's Airbnb. Yeah.
Okay. And then with these properties, have you done any other, like, let's say like anything other, like any interesting other renovations? Like, have you done like flooring, like
Yes.
basement, like bathroom, like what other type of things have you done for these
Yes,
properties?
the flooring, of course, because like the townhouse, the person who was living there, he was doing everything by himself. Like in the master bedroom, there were 7 different flooring in the master bedroom.
Holy crap.
7,
Re-
7 different flooring.
That's crazy. Okay, so you pretty much you rip that all out, and then what did you put down?
Laminate.
Laminate flooring.
Laminate.
Okay,
Yeah.
and why did you choose laminate flooring?
I asked my contractor because he knows better. I say, which one do you think that can resist water, don't get damaged easily, easy to clean? And then we went to Home Depot and he chose what he wants, and then he put it on.
Oh, okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a very smart move, right? Is like instead of spending all that extra time trying to learn about flooring, which maybe
Yep.
some people are probably not really passionate about, is learning about flooring.
Yeah.
You brought an expert in, having that, that contractor, and saying, hey, these are the requirements. This is what I need. I want something resistant to water, that has like good long time, like
Yes.
good life, reliability and stuff. And then you got the answer from him, and then you put that in. Okay, yeah, yeah. So now talking about contractors, like that's another subject that a lot of people ask about, is like, how did you find a good contractor?
Oh, the other thing you're supposed to do, networking. You have to network. Because like this contractor, I get it from a friend. And he did every renovation in my house. He's so good. He's so good with the flooring and tiling. He did everything. And then he bring his friend who is a painter, and another friend give me an electrician, and another friend give me a plumber. So you have to build a team. But when you networking, so you ask, because they already know them, they already use them. So you're not going to look for on Kijiji somebody maybe who doesn't even have experience. It's better to take the information from your friends,
Yeah, okay.
from the networking.
So you pretty much went to these meetups, and through like other networking places like online and stuff, you pretty much just found these great contractors, the plumber, electrician, and then like, like just a general contractor, and pretty much you put them all
Yes.
together, and that's pretty much your team now.
Yes.
What other persons have you added to your team? You probably have a lawyer. Do you have a real estate agent as well, or you have a real estate agent?
Yes, I have a couple of real estate agents. I have an accountant and a
Okay.
general contractor, a plumber, electrician. Yeah, and I don't know if you can call him a landscaper, but he does all the work outside, like
Oh,
the
okay.
fence, the
Okay.
deck. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. And then, okay, that's pretty interesting. And then,
Yeah.
I know we're coming to the end here, but is there anything else that you sort of want to add, that you want to talk about quickly, about like any other advice that you want to give that just sort of popped into your head?
Yeah. So when you're looking for a property to buy, make sure your numbers make sense. Make sure your income is bigger than expenses. It's better to be a little bit conservative and add more expenses just in case than doing the opposite, and then you end up losing money every month. So it's better to make sure the numbers make sense. And don't use emotions when you're buying a property. So, oh, I love it, I don't want to lose it. And then you add up more money and you spend more money buying it. It doesn't make any sense. If you lose it, somebody take it, fine. Go keep looking. There are so many properties out there. Yeah, don't use your emotion, use your head. Make sure the numbers make sense.
Yeah. So don't like, yeah, that is also a really great point, is like you're saying, make sure the numbers make sense. And then also, it doesn't matter if you lose that property, right? Like you don't have to, because that's another thing too, is like maybe some people
Yeah.
get like really nervous, and they're like, oh, I got to get this
Yes.
property, and then they overpay for it. And then they,
Yes.
that has a negative effect to their like income
Yes.
from the property, right?
Yes, because when you increase your purchase price, that means your mortgage is going to be bigger. That means your income, your cash flow will be smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, true. So awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Fanny. Where can people, so you have your book, which is Enjoy Your Life. And then where can people find out more about you? And let's say if they want to reach out, have questions, or they're in the London area and they sort of want to network with you, how can they find out more about you?
Okay, I'm on social media as Green Mind Properties. Green as the color, Green Mind Properties. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. So you can ask me any question, and I have a YouTube channel, Find Your Way to Financial Freedom, where you can go back and see. I interview every month people who are already out of rat race, who don't need a job to live a life, so they can inspire other people to do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, well, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.